So here we are again in Frankfurt. Welcome. Good to see you guys.
Thanks.
Anthony, you were part of the network that actually brought Peter Obi to Frankfurt to talk to us. And of course, I gave the keynote address and introduced him. But Ukachi, I'm curious to know, what brought you there? How did you hear about it? What brought you there? And what feelings accompanied the whole experience for you?
Yeah. Anthony invited me and said Peter Obi was coming to talk in Frankfurt. And initially I said I wasn't going to come. Not because of anything I have personally against him as a person or as a politician, but because generally I have lost faith in the Nigerian political scene and politicians and what they tell us, the promises they make to us before we vote them. So I felt it was a waste of my time coming to listen to another bunch of empty promises. So I said I was going to come. Then he persuaded me. I said, okay, I'll come. Then 2 days before the event, I called him again. I said, no, I wasn't going to come. I've changed my mind. And he said, I should please come. Even if I don't do anything, I should just sit in and just listen. I said, okay, I'll come. It's a 6 hours drive from where I live to Frankfurt, and I was going to drive. So I drove with my 7-year-old daughter. On the way, she popped up, just the way kids are. She just asked a question. She was like, Mama, what are we going to do in Frankfurt? And I said, we're going to listen to a presidential candidate talk to us. And then she went ahead and said, do you want him to be president? And that was when I came up with an answer. I told her that actually, amongst the people I have seen so far vying for this presidential seat come 2023, he seems to be the only one with a clean track record while he was in office, and his vice presidential candidate to that. Yes, if I had to vote for anyone, I would vote for him and his vice presidential candidate. And then she said, okay, then she wants to buy him a flower. Yeah, but the question remained with me that this child in her innocence actually just naturally assumed that anyone who wants to be the president of Nigeria wants to fix Nigeria. And it brought me to the question of the principles behind our presidential candidates and their election campaigns. What is it? What drives them? What are they offering us? What are they selling to us? What is their ambition? Yeah. This campaign where they give us peanuts, they give us money from little change from the billions they have stolen from us to buy our votes, so that we could put them in office, so that they could turn around and steal from us again. Is that what we will continue to do? Bringing people in to steal from us and keep us down in poverty? And it just occurred to me that come the 2023 election, something has to change. Yeah. And we, the electorate, we have to make that change happen. So.
Yeah. Thanks. Wow. That's deep. That's deep. True. You touched upon some issues there, campaigns, elections, how they are run, people that, candidate, the electorate votes for and stuff like that. Let me ask you, Tony, are those issues that resonate with what connects you with this particular election season in Nigeria?
If the truth must be told, the way that we conduct election in Nigeria has never been free and fair, which I will say the past 3 generations, not to exaggerate, let me start with my generation. We don't know what is called free and fair election, which people of my age, some of us, this is what makes them not to believe in our electoral system. And that's why good people are fed up, they are not coming out. And such kind of system has put in our country so down deep in the hole.
Like he said, Peter Obi and Obi-Datti.
Yeah.
Ukachi, what do you feel about that?
And I'm going to start from what Peter Obi said when he was here in Frankfurt. He said that daily, every day, he prays that if he will not be able to give what it takes to fix Nigeria, that God should please not make him the president of Nigeria. And I found that statement very, very deep. I see that statement coming from a place of selflessness, a place of sacrifice, especially in today's Nigeria, where we all know that politicians come to political offices just to enrich themselves. And somebody's saying that. And it struck me that in 2023, we as a people who have been deprived, who have been stolen from, who have become hopeless, faithless, we say prayers, and at the back of our minds, we have accepted our bad news, our bad way of life, the insecurity, the inadequacy, the lack of health care. We don't even have good education to offer our kids anymore. We accept those things as the reality of our lives. We are the ones who can actually make this change happen. And considering the fact that we have lost everything there is to lose. So, what is there for Nigerians to lose if for the first time they go to the polls, devoid of sentiments, religious sentiments, tribal sentiments, devoid of all of that, they just shine their eyes, like Nigerians will say, and vote wisely. Vote for something that is true, something that they could actually see that behind these two people, Peter Obi and Datti, that Yusuf Datti, that there is no massive corruption, if at all there is any corruption, when they were in office. These are people that you could look at and you can't find where they have amassed wealth while in public office. I think Nigerians owe it to themselves this time around to vote for these two gentlemen. And it shows in their simplicity, even the way they talk, when they stand, you know. You could clearly see that these are people who are committed to the message of capacity building, the message of competence, the message of character, the message of capability. For example, Peter Obi, when he was in office, he's somebody who you could go back to his track records and see that he made promises, he stood by his promises, and he fulfilled them. And that's what we need come 2023 election in Nigeria. I remember when Chibok girls news broke. It was global news. It was breaking news. But today, Nigeria itself has become a Chibok situation, and it's not breaking news anymore. Kids go to school, they are kidnapped in primary schools, secondary schools, universities. A whole train from Abuja to Kaduna got missing in transit. Everybody on it was taken hostage, and some of them are still in the bushes, have not been released. And bad news has become normality in Nigeria now. We respond to bad news with exclamations like, "Kai," "Yeah," and that's it. And we move on. Like it's normal, but it's not normal. Before, who would have thought, like, even in 2015, who would have thought Nigeria would get to where we are today? So, I see the 2023 election like our salvation, our saving grace. And I just hope that the Nigerian electorate will not collect shishi from the thieves who have robbed them blind, who have made them poor, and still sell their votes to these same people, because it will be the absolute definition of madness, you know. If I may ask, which I often wonder, what are the chances that right now, when Nigeria is in their need of positive change, that somebody like Peter Obi and Yusuf Datti would come out as a team?
What do you mean by what are the chances?
Yeah, as in, it has never happened before for us. Isn't it a sign that somewhere our prayers have been answered? What are the chances that if we miss this opportunity, that we could get it right?
You know, the thing about the future is that we are always the ones who make our future.
Yeah.
You know, the chances were there in 1960, they were there in 1970, 1989, they are there today.
Yeah.
It depends on the electorate. That's how I see it. Depends on the people at any point in time.
Yeah.
So what I'm feeling is that just the suffering has become so much. The repetition of failed promises, has sort of struck a chord. The insecurity, the hunger, so that now there's maybe a critical mass of audience in the electorate and the citizenry for a person like Peter Obi. Nigeria has produced credible people in the past, but maybe people are not listening to them. But this time now, a credible person has also come up. That's how I look at it. Someone like Peter Obi, with his running mate also Obi-Datti.
Yeah.
And for the first time, you can see the masses resonating and saying, yes, this is what we have been saying, this is what we are thinking, feeling, And they look at his track record and say, this is someone who seems to at least be practicing what he's preaching. Let us give this person a try, So for the prayerful, they will say, yes, our prayers are being answered. But you see, those prayers have always been answered. It is now that people are maybe recognizing the answer. There's no time, to me, and I believe in the Almighty, there's no time he doesn't answer prayers. But people don't see the answer. And it's there, So that's how I'm looking at it. While we're listening to Peter Obi, he severally mentioned certain qualities as being necessary and needed in the kind of leadership that will turn Nigeria around, and which he charged the electorate to look for them in anybody that is asking, for the votes of the people. And these qualities, he called them the 4 C's, or we call them the 4 C's, which is character, commitment, competence, and capacity. So based on these characters now, within the context of these qualities now, Ukachi, can you just describe how you see Peter Obi, how you see Nigeria, and just how you analyze the entire situation?
Based on the speech he gave and looking back on his track record, I think he has the competence. He's competent enough to do what he said he would do, which is economic revitalization. He said something about a country that doesn't export, expecting to boost the power of its currency. And that's just the crux of the matter. We have been for ages an importing consumer nation.
Yeah.
Over 250 million consumers. Where did we expect we would get to? There was something he said about getting on a flight and not caring where the pilot is going to.
Yeah.
Meaning you are ready to go anywhere, and anywhere is nowhere. And that brings me to the aspect of the mediocrity that is now allowed to play in Nigeria. Nigeria has become, even though Nigerians are very intelligent people, wherever we go to, we excel. But mediocrity has killed the competence in us. Our capacity to build, our capacity to invent, our capacity, there is no reward for hard work in Nigeria anymore because anything goes. And when anything goes, everything will go. And when everything is gone, there'll be nothing left but the decadence we have today. So that's why it's important for us, come 2023, to vote for leaders with competence.
Okay.
And not just competence in itself. Competence can't come where there is no character. Because a man without character cannot be competent to start with. It's intertwined.
A woman too.
Yeah, a woman too. It's intertwined, you know. This character that somebody comes and he's so proud that you can't steal. It takes pride to say, I won't be a thief. But over the years, we've had political office holders who have no pride in themselves, who are just common thieves, who are ruled by our kleptomaniacs. If we really have love for our kleptomaniacs, they shouldn't be ruling us. They should be in psychiatric institutions. We should send them for healing, to heal them, rehabilitate them. We shouldn't have them in our government houses, in Aso Villa. No, that's not where they should be. We need people with character, people with pride in themselves, people who would see what is right and say, this is right. And because this is right, this is what should be done. Because this is wrong, this should not be done, and we should not condone it because it's wrong. And that brings us to the question of credibility. Our leaders should be credible. There are people who we should be able to hold accountable for what they've said. We should be able to hold accountable that they are sitting there and their job is to lead us and we will follow them, and we believe that they would accountably lead us. We could close our eyes and follow them. There is this song that Igbo sing. That means you have so much faith in this elephant that is leading you. This elephant, it must not be an elephant in the sense of the word elephant, but elephant with integrity. Integrity makes this leader big, larger than life. Integrity makes you believe in this leader, that you could just close your eyes and follow this leader. Nothing they happen, you know. You have faith. But we don't have faith in our leaders because they are common thieves. Not all of them, but a good number of them. They're just common thieves, and they have made it normal place for people in office to steal. So the followers are also stealing. It has just become a free-for-all stealing game. And suddenly everybody was just stealing, and it's all gone. We have nothing but this poverty. No accountability. Nobody is afraid to do anything. There is no taboo anymore in Nigeria. And a country where there is no taboo, where there is no punishment for crime, where anything will just happen and it will be brushed under the carpet and people will turn around and look away like nothing has happened. What were we expecting? What were we expecting? Yeah.
So that is when we come to talk about commitments.
Yeah.
You see, being committed into something is not about thinking for yourself.
Yeah.
It's thinking for the people.
Yeah.
What you can give the people.
Okay.
This is what pushes you to be straight in it. But what we have today in Nigerian politics, or so to say politicians, they don't think for the people. Just like our sister here said, they think only for their stomach.
Yeah.
In conclusion, my plea on the Nigerian electorate is when they go to the elections come 2023, they should shine their eyes well and vote for character, commitment, competence, and capacity. Those are the 4 qualities we should be voting for. We should see this election as our own election. Nobody is going to convince us or buy our votes because we will not sell. And message to all presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates, do not try to give us shishi because we will not take.